Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLeesCorner. This is some Tuesday morning chit chat, okay? Stuff I did not want to wait until later on because we know that people should be sentenced today, okay? Before he gets sentenced, okay, I want to fully show y'all Megan's full statement. Iggy Azalea out here backtracking her statement or whatever, and then Tory Lanez's lawyer did a whole little press conference, honey, outside the courthouse. We're gonna watch along and talk about that, okay? But look, y'all know first things first. If you have not done so already, take some time, okay, and go ahead and like the video. Okay, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and be a whole JayBird, dun, and dun. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. Okay, look, it is 5:26 in the morning. It's late. I look crazy. So I'm going to be off camera, okay? Because we have things to discuss. Again, like the video, comment in the comment section, share the video, and subscribe to my channel and stuff. Okay, but let's get into what we came here to get into. So we was, watching the tweets of Megan, the reporter, earlier, and she had mentioned that it was a whole bunch of letters and statements on behalf of people who know Tory Lanez, who was speaking up for that man in one way or the other. And one of the most surprising, but also not surprising, people, it was the fact that Iggy Azalea, I'm so fancy, wrote a letter. Okay? Now, people was on social media. I can't believe. Oh, that is crazy. Why would she do that? Probably the same reason they said that she was dating that man while he was waiting to go to court. Okay, we saw her hang out with that man a little bit. Now we ain't seen them together because he been in jail, but we remember it going on. So Iggy caught all the backlash. She was reading the backlash, and she responded and kind of is backtracking, backpedaling and popping to her support's letter on Tory's behalf that she sent. Okay, and she said this. Now, first of all, I feel like the fact that she wrote it meant they knew she would write something supportive. Okay. Now, Iggy Azalea, this is her actual thing, what she put up there, okay? She said, for the record, I have not been in touch with Tory for months. I have no reason to be, but I do wish him well. Oh, do you now? Okay. I don't support anyone. Now, that means a lot. That means she don't support Tory. She don't support Meg. I guess she only support her son. I guess she team Iggy Azalea. She team Mind My Business. But my thing is this: if you don't support anyone, why would you send anything anywhere for any reason if you don't support anyone? Okay, so again, she already starting the backpedaling, backtracking, and backing up to what she was saying, okay? Again, I don't support anyone. The whole thing is full of oddities. My letter never mentioned anything in regard to what happened that night. It don't matter. It don't matter. Because the fact that you wasn't there that night, that's fine. The fact that your thing didn't lit, your letter did not mention, your letter did not mention anything in regards to what happened tonight, that's fine, whatever. But if you don't support anyone, why send anything? Now, number 3, I was told this was just for a judge only, yet it's being discussed in public. I never intended to publicly comment, ma'am. This case, was you not paying any attention? And if you were not paying any attention, that's your fault that you got caught up. Because if I'm not, the case is public. The case is a public case. Do you not have no team? Do you not have no lawyers who would tell you if you send a letter to a judge in a high-profile case, it could get out publicly, even if someone, which means Tory. First of all, the fact that Tory Lanez and his team was able to trick you from prison, that shows you are not smarter than the average bear. because anything you send to a court can be obtained by pulling the record. So again, as she said, I was told this was for a judge only, yet it's being discussed in public. I never intended to publicly comment. When you was hanging out with that man and posting about cooking food for that man, that was a public conversation. That was a public comment. We synced you with him. Okay? We synced you with him. So I feel like you can't make it seem like I never meant for anyone to know I had any kind of opinion on it publicly. Well, ma'am, you could have fooled me. You could have knocked my big ass over with a feather. Number 4, I am not in support of throwing away anyone's life if we can give reasonable punishments that are rehabilitative instead. I support prison reform, period. I support prison reform too, but I also know that some people need to go to prison to be reformed. I support the prison programs changing. I don't support not sending people to prison because if you do something, you gotta go sit down somewhere sometimes, okay? And he did a lot. So again, her saying I'm not throwing away anybody's life if we can give them reasonable punishment that's rehabilitative instead. I support prison. A lot of folks support prison reform. That ain't what this is about. But again, her number 5 point was I was asked to write about my genuine experience and the type of punishment I think he deserves. I did. Okay. Well, let's hope he didn't pow you in the foot. It's not really that interesting, but I understand why it's being sensationalized. See next week to discuss piece topics, I suppose. Laugh out loud. It's not funny. See, and this why we drag yourself, because it's not funny. Now laugh. Somebody, when your baby daddy don't pay child support, or when you having issues about your record deal or whatever, don't be looking for no sympathy from us. Because you could have easily not said shit publicly and kept getting dragged because we was look, once he's sentenced, no one gonna care about you. But you came and you had a okay, you getting dragged, your statement was made public. You want to be sure people know I don't have no side. I don't support nobody. I didn't know it was gonna be talked about. I didn't know. I was only for the judge. Well, the judge was the only one who read it, but the fact that no one told you was a pawn. Okay, and that's on you. Anyway, that's what she said. And let's hope she don't say nothing else, because right now she getting on our nerves, all of our nerves. Okay, now this is a drawn. This is Tory in court. Y'all know they had a court reporter people who be drying, who be drawn how they look. That's Tory in court, beanie and all. You know he bald. And that's of course that's Megan's style. You know, okay. So we saw a bit of what Meg's statement was earlier by Megan the reporter. Okay, because as y'all know, in the courtroom, they're only allowed to take notes. So they have to write down stuff and then they quickly can tweet stuff a little bit. So as we saw earlier, part of Meg's statement, you know, Megan said she struggled with whether to attend in person, and her absence should be seen as her preserving her mental well-being. She said, "Since Tory shot her, I have not experienced a single day of peace." And we know she's peace. It was it was just a typo. It's supposed to be PAC. We know that. He lied to anyone that would listen. Meg said of Lane's. Megan said mercy is for people who shown remorse, and Lane's has shown none. And she thanked the LA County District Attorney Office for their support. And she wants the sentence to be a message for everyone, woman of violence. Okay. But Megan the reporter, not to be confused with Megan the Stallion, okay, to your people. Megan the reporter also put up a little later on, once she went through her notes, more from Megan the Stallion's statement at the Lane sentencing. He not only shot me, he made a mockery of my trauma. He tried to position himself as a victim and set out to destroy my character and my soul. And he did. That's the gotcha. The bad part wasn't the pow pow. Well, the bad part was pow pow, but the pow pow was one part. The second bad part, the worst bad part, was after the pow pow happened. All the rants and foolishness that ensued after the fact of Tory Lanez basically harassing that girl, and he did try to make himself the victim. He did try. They tried to slut shame Meg. Truth be told, I still feel like a good reason or one of the reasons Megan Party broke up was probably because of all the stress from things that was being said from the dang on case. Because I ain't got time to be fussing with you about what I did before before I was with you. So he absolutely tried to make himself the victim and destroy her to make himself feel good. Also, he lied to anyone that would listen and paid bloggers to disseminate false. Disseminate? Yes. Disseminate. Disseminate. I think so. False information about the case on social media. We know for a fact that a lot of blogs, a lot of people were saying reckless stuff as if it was fact, and it wasn't because that was being paid. Because we know most of this was fought in the court of public opinion. He released music, videos, and songs to damage my character and continue his crusade. And he did. He did all of this up until he was arrested and put in jail. Once he was put in jail and he was sitting around there, that's when he had no outlet to keep messing with her. But up until then, he kept doing things. And I feel like because all of this stuff happened over the past, over because it happened, the power happened in 2019. So from 2019, from the summer for past 4 years, the summer 2019 until now, the summer of 2023, he's done a whole lot. But I feel like he thought people won't remember because it's been a while. Y'all know what Aura of the Kelly, they said back in the day, in the early 2000s, when he was up on trial for them tapes he made that I saw that he made, they postponed stuff and kept pushing court dates back because they knew the further away things were, the more people will forget what happened. Because back then we didn't have social media, so it was easier for people to not remember what happened 2 years prior because you didn't have social media pulling it back up. Okay, but in this day and age, all the stuff he's done over these past 4 years, I remember. Pepper's Farm remembers. Megan Shore as heck remembers. You hear me? At first, he tried to deny the pow ever happened. Then he attempted to place the blame on my former best friend. In his tantrum of lies, he blamed the system. I blame Rock Nation and Jay-Z. They did too, okay? He blamed the press, and as of late, he's using his childhood trauma to shield himself and avoid culpability. And that's true. Now, he has a drinking problem. His mama died, and all these childhood traumas. No, you did what you did because you did it. And at each and every turn, he's changed the direction to why it happened, how it happened, who did it. It's like who, what, when, where, why, and it's figure it out. Make a choice. You hear me? For once, the defendant must be forced to face the full consequences of his heinous actions and face justice. Now, Megan the reporter, not to be confused with Megan Thee Stallion. Okay, that's Megan Thee Stallion, and we are discussing Megan the reporter. She also brought up how regarding Lanez that it was 76 letters, meaning 76 people sent letters to the judge. And so one of the letters, of course, was from Iggy. Now, Meg's statements was a victim statement. I told y'all earlier when we was on live that I am also a survivor of domestic violence, and when my ex was in court for felonious assaults, okay, against me, when he came at me, when he hit me multiple times with a steel baseball bat, okay, and we were in court. The judge read my victim statement and also read my mom's because she, suffered too because her daughter was beat up. But it was a victim statement where the other people who sent these 76 letters was just kind of them speaking on Tory's behalf on how they felt. But Megan, the reporter, said one from a police chief in Missouri, another from a state rep. Both are about Lane's charity work. Now, the fact that they keep trying to push this, he does all this charity, it's a travesty that because he's locked up, the charity he was doing can't, his fault. He did it. That's on him. Ain't nobody's fault that whatever charity he was messing with ain't getting no more money because of what he did. Because again, all Tory had to do was shut up. Because Meg wasn't saying nothing, and Meg was trying to leave it be. But he kept talking about it because he could not stop. So he is the reason that any charity work he was doing can't be done no more. Okay. She said another is from a doctor who treated Lanez for his hair loss. He wrote that Lanez has helped others in the community suffering from hair loss. When? How? By getting them hair plugs. Look, ain't nobody got time for them try. It's like they're really trying to paint this picture. Oh, he's an amazing person. He doesn't do any wrong. He's a great pillar in the community. Send him back to Canada. Get him out my face. Okay. Now, outside the courthouse, his attorney, whose name I may mispronounce. Okay, I think it's Jose. Baez is Jose. I think that's Jose. Baez is Baez. I don't know. But that's his lawyer. Now, I want y'all to know, he's a criminal lawyer. I just want y'all to know some of his old cases, okay? He was the lawyer who was Casey Anthony's lawyer. Okay? He was the lawyer in the Casey Anthony case. Okay? He also, he was working on the Aaron Hernandez case before Aaron Hernandez took himself out the game. Because it was what it was. He also was on the Harvey Weinstein case. He was one of the lawyers. I think they left even like in 2019. But I mean, the fact that he was on the Harvey Weinstein defense. I'm just saying, if you Harvey Weinstein and Casey Anthony, those are two of your clients. Really. If you just look up his cases, I mean, it is feel like guilty. Like he worked with guilty people. Okay. But let's listen to, and we'll listen to watch along to his. Now look, because he was outside, you can hear cars and stuff. So at some points, it's kind of hard to hear. But if you just cut your thing up, cut the closed caption on, you should be able to hear it a couple of little few times where it gets a little loud.
We're hoping for the best outcome for everyone. And essentially, I think Tory has proven through his extensive service and lives he's touched.
He's saying right here how Tory has proven through all his generosity how he's a good person, basically.
You all saw today how extensive it is. This young man was not only an entertainer, he was also a philanthropist.
He's not only an entertainer, he's a philanthropist. He's also the shooter.
And as was testified today, it's unbelievable how many lives he's touched for the better, how many people he's helped.
The fact that he's saying, all the people, the lives he's touched, the people he's helped for the better. What about Meg? What about the victim? When your defense lawyer is outside, Tory's a great person. He's helped so many people. But what about the person he hurt for the past 4 years with his actions?
Completely being unselfish.
Not he being unselfish. When? Today? Because as soon as he being unselfish, because now he has to be sentenced.
And trying to help others. And I'm sorry, I think that's something that should be significant. I think the more lives you touch in a positive way should be weighed when judging the man.
The more lives someone touched should be weighed in when judging the man. No, when you are... No. Mm-mm. Because one incident happened. Yes, it was one incident. However, from that one incident, all his actions from that point on is another infraction. It wasn't just the one incident. He then kept creating more incidents by his actions over the past 4 years.
We judge a person by what they've done their entire lives, not just in their worst moments.
I judge folks for their whole life. I'm a firm believer in, you do not completely shut somebody out based on one mistake. But when you make that mistake, you're supposed to be remorseful and not do anything to make it worse. He kept doing stuff to make it worse. That's why don't act like he did something and he shut up and now he being sentenced and not like, oh, all he did was the one little accidental drunken pow. He didn't do anything else to her since then. Lies.
In moments that they're not proud of. And this is something that started before this incident, continued even after the incident, and the lives have changed. Even you heard from the chaplain today, even while incarcerated, he's there trying to help you.
Man, forget that chaplain. Y'all paid that chaplain, allegedly. The chaplain said, "Oh, he's in prison, teaching the inmates to pray every day." Well, everybody know when people go to jail, they find God.
How you can ignore that? It is
because all the stuff he did. Don't feed me. Oh, now that he's been found guilty, he know he may have to do up to 13 years in prison. Oh, now he's a model prisoner. He's praying with the prisoners. The chaplain can't believe it. The chaplain full of shit, if you ask me. I'm sorry, God.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think you can ignore that. I don't think you should ignore that. And I don't think any of us want a system where someone would ignore hundreds of good deeds.
You know how many people do a whole bunch of good deeds just to compensate for the millions of misdeeds they do? He's doing all these good deeds because he be doing some stuff.
And judge them harshly on one incident, on an alcohol-fueled incident.
An alcohol-fueled incident. Y'all know they basically saying that man did it, right? He may be still saying, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. Saying what someone did on an alcohol-fueled incident. He pow people. Send his ass to jail. Lock his ass up.
For that reason, I think it's incredibly important that not only, well, specifically that the court know who Daystar Peterson is.
I always say we see who he is because he kept going live. Most of the stuff we are judging him on is because he was doing the stuff himself. He was posting the foolishness.
And I'll admit, I didn't know. And as I was investigating this case, and throughout all my years of practicing law, I've never seen an individual. I've represented many celebrities and many people who are financially well off. None of them, and I repeat, none of them even come close to Daystar Peterson.
The fact that you're comparing all your other criminal clients to Tory Lanez is crazy to me. To make it seem like, oh, he does so much for the community. He does so. Guess what? So did Nino Brown.
And I hope all of you saw a different side of Tory today that you may not have seen or known about. And that's because that's not something that he goes out seeking attention for. just the random acts of kindness are beyond belief.
Yeah, let's ignore the random acts of violence and aggravation and harassment and lies and fugazes. Let's forget all of that and just focus on he gives money to people.
Because he's incarcerated, people are suffering right now.
Oh, because he's in jail, people are suffering. All the people he helped, that's on him. That's his fault. If he was around here helping so many people, why would he not only pull a pow, but after the pow happens, you then sit and you antagonize the person you pow for years? What sense does that? What person who was around here who was so generous, who does so much for the people, why would they do that?
He was constantly helping over the years. The mothers, the single mothers who are out there trying to raise a family while their husbands are incarcerated, paying for their bail money, their legal fees, different things like that, moving towards social justice reform. You saw today a crippling nonprofit organization that's suffering because they don't have his support anymore.
That's his fault. Can you imagine if we let all the rich people out to help pay for what? Oh, why can't he help him from behind bars? Ain't he got money? He can't, so he ain't got no more money left?
And one incident or 2 or 3 things a year or something like that, or incidents where you're trying to get publicity, that's one thing. But clearly that's not the case in this situation where I'm blown away at the type of young man that he is.
Do you think the mitigating factors could be outweighed by the judge saying that the social media actions are a significant aggravating factor here?
But the day we start paying attention to social media in our criminal justice system is a very sad day.
You sound dumb. Social media in these days and these times is crucial in the criminal justice system. So many police and FBI and people and agents of all letters, okay, they find people through social media. You can't tell me that if it was a post on social media of Megan saying, Tory didn't do it, he's innocent, ha 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 ha. Y'all wouldn't have presented that to social media as a part of the defense. So miss me with the bullshit solely because a lot of your clients' antics were captured online from his posts. Oh, lying that lawyer.
How people believe, the fact that we've moved into a society where we pay so much attention on what people like and don't like, or
Sir, stop making up shit. Ain't nobody said that.
Criticize us online.
I think it's his actual words that are the issue. What things that he said and posted.
Certain reporters are using the culture, if not in general, this case in general, to use it for clout for social media. Do you agree with that?
Okay, if you're gonna ask me a question,
Is he remorseful?
Wait.
The judge said.
So somebody asked him a question. He just did not want to answer it. Are y'all gonna ask me a question? He just asked you one.
Several times about remorse. Is your client remorseful?
Would you like to get out here and
No, I'm just asking
finish?
you,
Well, here's my point. If you're going to ask me a question, please let me finish my answer.
He asked the question, and you then said, "Are y'all gonna ask me some questions?" You ignore his question. Slick as a can of oil.
Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, the specific acts go way beyond that. Now, what is your question?
Is he remorseful?
I think it's absolutely clear that he was remorseful because he called Miss Harris and reached out to Miss Pete immediately for his behavior that evening, and for.
Oh, so because when he first pow, he called Meg, he called Kelsey, but everything he did after that night, all the antics from after that night, is he remorseful? Remorseful for that too?
And accepted responsibility for that. He is incredibly remorseful and ashamed and embarrassed that all of this happened. And I think as an individual and those who were there that evening know what the truth is. But as far as his part is concerned, as far as his actions are concerned, he has been nothing but apologetic for that. Given, unfortunately, there are certain times and certain incidences where he's not proud of, but ultimately, his first instinct was to call and apologize. And I think that says a lot.
But to be clear, you're not saying he did it, right? He's maintaining his innocence.
Yes, he is maintaining his innocence.
Is he innocent? Is he innocent? Or did he have anything to do on that night with?
Like I said, if he's maintaining his innocence, yes, he's innocent.
He did not shoot the gun.
Correct.
If Tory gets
He ain't say no. He ain't say no.
time, how do you think he's going to handle this?
Well, you know, he's going to handle it like he's been able to handle everything so far. He's lived, as you can see, an incredibly tough life.
I told y'all some of the loud noise outside kind of muffles it, so you know that's the outside.
And he's just going to have to deal with it. Unfortunately, the numerous people who he's been helping over the years will ultimately suffer. And I'm sorry, I think what we established today clearly shows that a community would suffer if he spent an extended amount of time.
What community? Lock his ass up.
Behind bars.
So just so we're clear, you guys are asking for probation and not jail time.
What we're asking for is, first of all, he's doing jail time. He's has over a year of credit in jail. In addition to that, we're asking that he receive residential treatment, which is in-house treatment. You don't go home. So that's technically also a period of incarceration. So rather than throw someone, another man of color.
Oh Lord! Rather than throw another man of color in jail, you know what? Because he has almost a year's worth of time served in jail. You know, want him to do inpatient treatment so he won't be getting out like that. Miss me with the look. My recommendation: he can be sentenced to up to 13 years. I said sentence him to I think it may be a 9-year minimum. I thought I heard sentence him to 9 years. Let him do 4 years in jail. Give him credit for every days he has right now within the 4 years, and he should do 5 years on parole. And while he's in jail, he should be in some kind of inpatient treatment because he ain't getting no more liquor.
In prison, I think what we could do is try and do what we always try to accomplish in this criminal justice system, and that is to try and do some good. And what's the best that could come out of this unfortunate situation? One is that he gets the help he needs for his issue with alcohol, and two, that the community doesn't suffer. And
we don't want him out here. Put him in Canada.
I think every day Daystar Peterson is locked up, the community suffers. And you all saw that today. You all saw exactly how many people, through all of the random acts of kindness and through the hard work and dedication that he has committed to public service. This is not just an entertainment.
They are really, the fact that this man out here trying to make Daystar, Sunstar, No Star Peterson the victim when he's the one who did it. This is why I feel like he deserves jail time, because he always felt like I'm gonna get away with it. They're not gonna sentence me. I'm not gonna go to jail. I'm not gonna lock his ass up.
He's a young man who's committed his life to service, and it's easy for us to sit back and judge until you've actually gone out there and you've delivered turkeys. You've reached into your own pocket and said,
Nino Brown delivered turkeys too. Rockabye, baby.
And instead of building a nest egg and building your wealth, you're giving it away to people who need it, who are less fortunate than you are. But and I think that weighs a lot.
What did you think of Megan's statement? What did you think of Megan's statement?
I think I have no comments. I don't represent Miss Peace.
They asked, "What do you think about Meg's statement?" You should say she's the victim. We feel sorry for the victim.
Mr. Bias, worst case scenario, what do you think the sentence should be if probation?
As we've recommended, I think he should, one, the time that he served should be taken into consideration. He's on lockdown. He's in solitary confinement 23 hours a day.
He's in protective custody. Solitary confinement and protective custody are two different things. Even if it's served the same way, he's like that because of who he is. But that's what happens when you commit crimes and you famous. You're gonna sit in prison by yourself.
He can't even go to take a shower without chains.
He's in jail. He's a prisoner. That's what happens in prison.
He has these, under these conditions, he's doing hard time for him.
Not hard time in the county jail.
Because of his status, because of who he is. So if you're going to take who he is into consideration for his punishment, you should also take who he is into consideration of mitigation. That is my position, and it's our position that he should receive the credit for the time he's done, the hard time he's done. In addition to that, we're going to be requesting a year of in-house treatment. That's 2 years there, and then the ability to continue doing the work that he's in, the service that he's doing. If you want to make it a part of his condition of probation, go ahead and do that. I have no doubt, and I think that very few people would have doubt, that this young man won't go out there and do more good.
He might go out there and power somebody else. He might go out there and file some fake taxes. There's a lot he might go out there and do. What we know that he already did is why he's locked up. Lock his ass up.
He's proven he can do that. He's proven he's done it, and he continues to do it to this day.
You say he's remorseful, but Meg's statement and her attorney's words today express 2.5 years of hell, and making statements that it's almost shifting the blame from the victim, in this case Meg, to Tory. I mean, what do you make of that? Okay.
Right, y'all up here talking, trying to shift it to where Tory's the victim and not Meg. And what we put it? Because Meg said it. Let me find one, because Meg said it. He tried to present himself as the victim and trying to destroy my career. Again, even his lawyer is out here trying to set him up as the victim, and he ain't the victim.
I don't represent this people, but what I do know is that she's been incredibly successful over these last 2 years. Her career has taken off beyond proportion. She's doing all kinds of wonderful things in the industry. She's making lots of money. She's enjoying lots of success. She's doing lots of. She's a beacon in the rap community for the work that she's doing. In addition to that, she's doing things in physical fitness, and she's branding herself in a certain way that has been nothing but success.
Not this fool trying to make it seem like because Megan has been able to keep working despite what that man put her through, that, oh, she's fine. She's rapping. She's doing things in fitness. She's great. She's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with her. Sir, you a piece of shit. And now we see why you represent who you represent.
So, look, I applaud her for that, and I certainly think everyone should be applauded for their efforts and their hard work.
If Tory's freed, I mean, how is Tory going to feel? And what about all the time that he's already spent?
Man, fuck Tory. What kind of pick me question is that?
Behind bars.
As I mentioned, I think certainly he should be credited for it. And of course, he wants to get back to his family, to his community, and to all of those that he wants to continue to have.
If Tory is maintaining his innocence, what is he remorseful for?
He's remorseful for his conduct. There's a lot of bad conduct that occurred that evening that, of course, he is responsible for. And one thing, as we all know, there's no incident that's isolated. One thing leads to another, to another. And you heard a lot of talk today about Nexus. That's specifically what we're referring to. I think when you peel back all of the layers, Tory is remorseful for his actions. He's embarrassed by his conduct, and his brand has taken a major hit. And it's
when, because not again. The brand. It's so sad. His ego, it's his pride. It's so down and out, But Meg's fine. Oh, your Meg's thriving. Oh, but poor Tory Lanez. Seriously?
Something that he's going to have to repair and pay for as he tries to get his life back together. Nobody's going to let him out. He's not going to get let out tomorrow, and everybody's just going to be all so wonderful and accepting of him. He's going to have to face the tough questions. He's going to have to pay his dues and gain the trust of the community for which he served. Now, you heard, in fact, today, one of the charities he wanted to continue to work for would not allow him to, given the PR issue that they would have had to deal with. So, you know, all he can do is try and rebuild his life, one by assisting and committing service one day at a time.
Abogado, un statement rapidito en español.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to run.
What is Tory's life like in jail?
It's essentially a living. I don't know how someone could last in isolation for so long.
They really making it seem. Now look, I'm not trying to minimize the plight of people who are in prison and they are in solitary confinement for a long period of time. Once Tory goes to prison, he won't be in solitary confinement because he has not been sentenced yet. He not in prison. That fool is like in the county jail or like in the federal holding. He not in prison. Once he gets to prison, if he was smart, he would have went to prison and let it be. But the fact that his lawyer trying to make, oh my God, you know, he's in solitary confinement. You know, he's in prison. He's in jail. A lot of people are in jail, you know, are sitting there by themselves. But it's because he's a high profile person. If he don't want that, he should tell them, hey, put me in general population. Pick a struggle.
He's moved. Whenever he's moved, he's chained. That includes taking a shower. You try taking a shower with chains on. Not a pleasant experience.
Can't nobody tell me that while he's in the shower, I don't think they chain him up they may have you chained up while you walk to the shower. But I don't believe if anybody who's in prison, I'm gonna send my friend who's in prison. I'm saying, do they make you, you know, take a shower with the chains on? And when he tell me hell no, I'm gonna say the damn lawyer's a liar.
Try being in a situation where you're by yourself 23 hours a day in and day out. That's a form of suffering for which you must take into consideration if you're going to judge or attempt to punish him.
How is he feeling? What has he said to you today?
Again, he's encouraged, and we're certainly hoping that he gets a fair shake with Judge Hereford.
I don't like this man. I don't like him at all. He gets on my nerves because he makes it seem as if Tory Lanez is the victim who he's suffering. Tory's suffering. Can you believe that Tory is suffering like this? Get out my face. Get out my face. Anyway, y'all, again, it is now 6:08 in the morning. I'm about to try to go get at least 5 hours of sleep and then get up for work. Again, he has not been sentenced yet, but once he's sentenced later on today on Tuesday, I will come back and we'll have that conversation. But as of right now, somebody told Iggy Azalea to hush, tell Tory's attorney to hush, and let Tory go sit down in jail. I told y'all, my suggestion is he is sentenced to 9 years. He gets credit for time served, with the lawyer said about a year. So he'll then do, he should do 4 years. He should get 4 years of prison time out the 9. They'll take a year off of that. So he'll do 3 years total, get out, and then do 5 years parole. And the reason for that is I feel like he thought he would never get found guilty. He thought I can keep just terrorizing that girl and it won't matter. And now God is saying, no, go sit down in the corner for a little bit of time. Now look, if he gets less time, will I be upset? Not really. I don't want him to do the whole 9. I don't think he should do the whole 13. I think he should have to be in prison for at least 4 years. I said it, I meant it. And when he get out, he should be deported. Okay, Daystar, Sunstar, No Star, get out our atmosphere. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I love you all. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. I gotta go.